this little treatment of a corner is supposed to be done. So the reason I pressed it or ironed it is also so I can get some guidelines to work with without having to draw them. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna fold this piece by facing your right sides together. You have already got your lines there to work with. And when you're sewing, you want to sew on this line that you just created, your 1-inch line, okay? Now, if it helps, absolutely draw a line, but I've ironed it, so I've just created a line and I'm just gonna follow that. So what I've done is how it was pressed like this. I have just opened it up. See how I have these lines? I am flipping my right sides together because this is my wrong side. So my right sides are together. And I'm gonna be stitching on this line of my head.
All the way down or
Just where that square is. And of course I do a little back stitch to start. As I get close to the end, I'm just back stitching. Okay, now I want to show you what I just did. So once I trim the threads off, what happened here is I have just secured a corner without having any flapping going on. Okay, so now it's not going to fold back properly because there's some bulkiness happening right here. So what you can do about it is take that excess out. You can just go at an angle, and I try to like stay a little further away from here, and of course about 1/8 away from my seam that I just created. And what that does is it eliminates all that bulkiness, giving me a sharper corner. And there's a tool for this. I'm sorry I'm using my scissors, but there's a tool to actually poke out your corners. So it just really took all that bulkiness out for me, and everything lays flat inside now. Everything lays flat on the outside, and I still don't have any raw edges showing out here. Okay, so you want to repeat that step. Now if you see this other side closely, do you see if I actually sew it down over here and go around here, you still have like a corner showing. Now you go this way or you go this way, it still has a little flap showing around. That's what we just eliminated. So we just did it a different treatment to work corner, so we don't have anything showing right here. Okay, so you're gonna repeat that step on the other side. You're gonna flip, you're gonna open your piece up, flip your right sides together. You can finger press it if you like, and you're just sewing on this line that's created by pressing, or you can draw it, whatever works for you. And you're just doing a plain seam right here. I like to personally see the top part on top just so it doesn't move underneath and I have more control. So I always do it facing up for myself. And I'm repeating the same step of kind of back stitching. and I'm only going till the end of the corner. There's no need to go all the way out. Once you have trimmed your fabric off, you can of course cut it again, and I'll show you one more time how I do that. So first of all, I always recommend to check if your stitch was okay to begin with before you end up cutting your fabric, okay? So once you have made sure that what stitch you made is correct, go ahead and then you can eliminate that bulkiness in there. So all I'm doing is I'm just pulling this out of here, and I'm just removing this part on an angle. I'm gonna try to stay away 1/8 inch away from the corner, because you don't want, even if it's an edge, you don't want the corner to start fraying, right? Okay, so then I take that bulkiness out. You wanna adjust your corner. At this point, go to your iron and give it a nice press. So when you are ready for top stitching, it's laying really nice and flat for you. I'm just gonna pull this out a little bit more. Okay, so once that is done, you basically have your slit right there, okay? So I want a top stitch to finish this seam, and I know that my center back is 1 inch extension. I know my hem is also 1 inch, right? So if I do a 1 inch seam here, it's very likely that my fabric underneath may slip out, or it's gonna be just caught at the edge, which eventually after wash or something is gonna come out, right? So if you sew on top at 1 inch, this fabric may not hold and secure very well. So I'm gonna go a little bit less than 1 inch so it's caught nicely. So I'm gonna go with 3/4 of an inch. So again, mark as you want. I'm just measuring the 3/4 using my ruler. Now I'm also going all the way top of my stitch, my slit. So I'm lining this up here, and where my point of my end seam is, again I'm taking out 3/4 and I'm marking, just so everything looks neat, clean, and well precised and equal everywhere. See how I have that perfect top stitch angle? Now I'm gonna go ahead and top stitch. Now for this top stitch, remember when I was giving you guys some descriptions about stitches and stuff, the top stitch can be used as just decorative, or it can serve a purpose. In this case, it's doing both, right? So you can actually change your stitch length to a desired length. You can make it slightly bigger so it looks nice and clean. You can change the color of your thread here to your preference. Say if you're using a denim fabric, you can use a brown thread to give it more of that denim looking finish, you know? So you can actually play around with this top stitch quite a lot. So I'm gonna start at one corner. I changed my setting a little bit bigger just so I can have it as a decorative piece and also have a purpose served, which holds down my my hemline and my seams. So again, any point you start, you know the drill. Secure your stitch. Now I'm going slow. I'm making sure everything's laying flat because this is your top stitch and it needs to look nice. It is a stitch that everybody would be able to see, and it's not something that can be hidden underneath your clothes. So as I get to the corner, I am leaving my needle in there and I'm pivoting for a nice sharp corner rather than going on an angle. And I continue. Now, if you guys notice, I'm again coming to a corner and I'm slowing down. As I get to the corner, I leave my needle in there and I pivot again. We're hitting the last corner here and I'm slowing down. As coming to an end, I secure my stitch again by back stitching. And here you go, everything is top stitched. You have your slit secured because it's back stitched right here. You know it's nice and secured, the seam's not gonna come out. A lot of times people do something where they do secure the stitch right here too, so you can go ahead and do like 2 to 3 stitches right here to secure your stitch. So I'm starting just right here. Now that's all on your design, how much security you want to give. Now what that does is that just gives you a little bit of extra security because your slit does take a lot of pressure a lot of times, right? When you're walking or anything, especially if it's in a skirt. By sealing it, you can assure that it's not gonna come apart like very easily. Then the stitch over here is very precise because you've marked it as well. When I look inside now, see how I have a little bit of extra fabric, but I don't have too much, so I know I've secured the fabric really well in here, and it's not gonna come out after a few washes. If I pulled out, it's not so close to the edge where it's gonna come out. It's well secured, right? And that's what we want. Perfect, and that's your slit.